Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Housewives Sutton Stracke closing boutique. Is Housewives star Sutton Stracke closing her beloved Sutton boutique after opening the doors in September 2019? This was her dream to have her own business after she got divorced, and it finally came true. Yet what clues are there that this could be the end of the boutique, and what does Sutton have to say? Keep reading for more details. When Sutton Stracke joined Housewives, her good friend Lisa Rinna bragged about how rich she was. Yes, she had a very prominent ex-husband and did quite well in her divorce. She knew all of the best designers and had a close, personal relationship with Dolce & Gabbana. Early on, she invited the ladies to the grand opening of her new boutique, simply named Sutton. The pricey gift bags blew them away, but she was also seen shopping at auctions for specialty items that would be perfect in the store. This was her passion project and a big dream of hers. Recently, she launched a loungewear collection, which has been met with mixed reviews. Still, the mother of three has been modeling it on her social media and showing off what she has in store for faithful buyers. However, some of the comments have not been the best, as not everyone loves what she is putting out. "Sutton, I love you, but you should or someone else model the shorts. I say this with love, but everything ain't for everybody. Honestly, those shorts don't fit right. Being real. At 50, I don't think a crop top is gonna work." They also proceeded to mock how skinny Sutton is, and now she has something else to contend with. According to Us Weekly, a for lease sign was spotted on Sutton Stracke's boutique. Is she closing down? She shared the details on the Wednesday, September 4th episode of Jeff Lewis Live by first blaming her assistant, Avi Gabe. Avi is to blame. "I was out of town. I have expanded and don't need my storefront anymore. All my inventory has been put on a pallet and it's being shipped to Houston." The RHOB star did clarify that there will be a spot in the back that is available, but only by appointment. "I'll have my samples there so that you can come by appointment only." Therefore, it seems that Sutton Stracke's storefront is closing, but not because she failed at her business. Rather, she appears to be doing better than expected, so she is taking the proper steps to keep growing as a businesswoman. It will be interesting to see if her store evolution will play a big part in season 14 of RHOBH. Are you excited that Sutton is expanding, or do you think there is more to the story? Let us know in the comments below. Sutton Stracke stood in front of the tall, glass windows of her West Hollywood boutique, her reflection framed by the elegant gowns and curated accessories that had defined her store for years. The familiar hum of Melrose Avenue behind her felt distant as she stared at the closing sale sign, bold and final. The gold lettering sparkled, catching the last rays of the sun, and for a moment, she wondered if it was too late to change her mind. But Sutton had never been one to second-guess herself, not in business, not in life. Her decision to close the doors of Sutton Concept, her beloved boutique, hadn't come lightly. It was more than just a store. It was her personal expression, her creative outlet, a space where she could blend her Southern charm with Beverly Hills glamour. Fashion had always been her escape, a way to channel her emotions and experiences into something tangible. Yet, like all things in life, even the most beautiful creations must come to an end. Inside, the air smelled of lavender and fresh leather, a comforting scent that had greeted customers as they browsed through racks of couture and rare vintage finds. Each piece in the boutique told a story, and Sutton could recall where every item had come from, the designer's inspiration, and the meticulous process behind its creation. Fashion wasn't just fabric to her, it was art. The boutique had been a dream realized. She opened its doors during a time when her life had been swirling with change. Her divorce, her move to Los Angeles, and her joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills had all happened in rapid succession. This store had grounded her, given her a sense of purpose. It was her baby, her sanctuary, and in many ways, her way of showing the world she was more than just the drama that unfolded on Bravo's cameras. But the tides had shifted. The fashion industry, particularly in the wake of the pandemic, had changed dramatically. Online shopping had boomed, foot traffic had dwindled, and the luxury market was no longer what it once was. Sutton had seen the writing on the wall, and as much as it pained her to admit it, the boutique was no longer sustainable. Maybe this is just the universe telling me to move on, Sutton had mused to her close friend and RHOVH co-star, Garcelle Beauvais, a few weeks earlier. They had sat in the back of the boutique, sipping iced tea, surrounded by racks of designer pieces that had become like old friends to her. Garcelle had given her one of those knowing looks, the kind that came from their years of navigating life's ups and downs together. Or maybe the universe is telling you that you have bigger things ahead, Garcelle had responded. Sutton sighed at the memory. Garcelle was right, of course. There were new opportunities on the horizon. Her role on The Real Housewives had grown. Her personal life was finally in a stable place, and there were whispers of new business ventures that might take her in an entirely different direction. But letting go of the boutique felt like saying goodbye to a piece of her identity. As Sutton walked through the store, she ran her fingers along the velvet-lined shelves, feeling the cool texture under her fingertips. She paused at a display of custom handbags, a collaboration she'd done with a Parisian designer last year. It had been one of her proudest moments, seeing her name stitched onto something that represented her vision. She picked one up, admiring its sleek lines and the intricate beading that sparkled in the boutique's soft lighting. Closing the boutique was bittersweet, but Sutton knew it was time. Time to step away from this chapter of her life and embrace whatever was next. She had always been a woman of reinvention, after all. From her days as a Southern debutante to becoming a prominent figure in the world of Los Angeles socialites, Sutton had never shied away from change. And even though it felt like the end of something significant, she reminded herself that it was also the beginning of something new. The next few days were a whirlwind. The boutique buzzed with activity as loyal customers came to say their goodbyes and snag the last pieces of Sutton's carefully curated collections. Some came for the sales, others came for the nostalgia. They wanted to be part of the final chapter, to grab a piece of history from Sutton's personal fashion narrative. She greeted each of them with her signature Southern warmth, offering hugs and smiles, even as a lump formed in her throat with each goodbye. And then, just like that, the final day arrived. The store was emptier than Sutton had ever seen it. The racks were nearly bare, save for a few pieces that she had chosen to keep for herself, souvenirs of this beautiful, albeit brief, chapter in her life. The mirrored walls reflected the quiet stillness of the space, and Sutton couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. Garcelle arrived later that afternoon, as promised. She brought a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses. One last toast, Garcelle said with a smile, her eyes twinkling with encouragement. To what? Sutton asked, though she already knew the answer. To new beginnings, Garcelle replied, clinking her glass against Sutton's. They sat on one of the velvet ottomans, sipping their champagne in the empty boutique, the laughter and memories of the past few years swirling around them like a gentle breeze. Sutton felt the weight of everything lift off her shoulders, replaced by a sense of peace. It was time. Time to close the door, literally and figuratively, on this chapter of her life. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow across the boutique, Sutton stood up and walked to the front door. She turned the key in the lock, hearing the familiar click that she had heard countless times before. But this time, it was different. This time, it was final. Sutton took one last look around, her heart full of gratitude for everything this space had given her. Then, without hesitation, she walked out the door, closing it gently behind her. The sign outside gleamed in the fading light, "Closing sale." But to Sutton, it didn't feel like an end. It felt like the beginning of something even more fabulous.